Hi witches, I'm Liz and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Spells, Herbs, and Incantations, an extension of the Facebook page and Instagram. Today's video is going to be about creating a sacred space and the protection circle that I use to do so. I've been using the same circle for about 10 years. I definitely do a much more abridged version. The longer I was doing it, I sort of wheedled out some of it, mostly because the way that I practice my craft is much more minimalist than it is the bells and whistles. Don't get me wrong, I will go bells and whistles every once in a while because it's fun to do the whole shebang, but when it comes to my circle, when it comes to creating my sacred space, I definitely go the minimalist route. I am going to talk to you about the sacred space, why I picked this circle. I'm going to read the ceremony to you directly, and then I'm going to show you the altar as well, and then at the very end of this episode, I am going to put in a clip. I'm going to put in a clip of me performing and casting the sacred space. From beginning to end, the full sacred space, not just my watered down version. So the sacred space that I use is called the Circle of Stones, and I got it from this book. If you guys can tell, this book is very, very old. It is dog-tagged to hell. This is the Cunningham's Book of Shadows. It was written by a man named Scott Cunningham. I also have a couple other of his books. Beginner's Guide to Wicca. I have Solitary Practitioner's Journey, a couple other ones that he's written. And this is where I got my Circle of Stones and the circle that I've casted ever since. This book, and like I said, you can tell how beaten up it is. This book is the book that I based my Book of Shadows on and where I got most of my initial ceremonies and my initial castings. This book is very special to me. It also taught me the value of adopting what you read on page into something that works more for you, because Scott Cunningham very much is focused on the male aspect of Wicca and the male casting, which is great. If anyone out there is a male witch, I would say Scott Cunningham's Book of Shadows is probably the best to go with. It's amazing. If you're a woman, you can do it too, but you have to adopt the feminine aspects and sort of adjust them to work a little bit better for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read his introduction to the Circle of Stones, and just so you guys have an idea of where it's coming from. The circle defines the ritual area, holds in personal power, and shuts out distracting energies. In essence, it creates the proper atmosphere for rites. Standing within a magic circle, looking at candles shining on your altar, smelling the incense, and chanting the ancient names is a wonderful invocation of your power. So what he's basically saying is casting your circle is putting you in the right mindset, and it's also creating a safe space for you to practice your craft. Now, you want to cast a protection circle when you do anything with your craft, from doing a full moon ritual to doing a banishing spell. It creates a cone of energy and a sacred space for you to practice in that is also a safe place where negative energies and other things can't intervene with what you're doing or influence your intentions or your magic. Because if you cast without a sacred circle, other energies can warp and misdirect your casting and your spells into something that you really didn't want it to be. So you want to put up a sacred space to protect you, to protect your energy, and to protect your magic. So you should always cast a circle before you do anything. And like I said, the circle that I do is called the Circle of Stones. It's called the Circle of Stones because in the original version of it, you use large flagstones to mark the four corners. Unfortunately, I don't have large flagstones. You can of course alter it to a lot of different things. I am going to read you the Circle of Stones from my book. So I am going to read you the full ceremony of the Circle of Stones from beginning to end, and then we are going to break it down and talk about it and why you do what you do and how you do what you do and the best ways to go about it. So I'm going to be reading it not from Scott Cunningham's book, from my personal Book of Shadows. So the ingredients that you are going to need for your protection circle is a broom, stones of your choosing of any size, color, and shape, a cord that is white, water in a bowl, salt in a bowl, an athame, incense and candles, and a sage smudging stick. You begin by sweeping the space with your broom and besom from east to west. Then you set the stones in the four corners, lay the cord, the stones should be on the outside of the cord, light your candles, touch the athame to the salt, and say, I purify this salt so that it may be fit to dwell inside the circle of stones. In the name of the Mother Goddess and the Father God, I purify this salt. You repeat with the water. You put the athame in the water and you say, I purify this water that it may be fit to dwell inside the circle of stones. In the name of the Mother Goddess and the Father God, I purify this water. Starting with the north circle, trace the circle with your athame. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. I charge this by your ancient power. Place the athame upon the altar and sprinkle water and salt around the circle as well. And then sage the circle. Stand facing north and say, O to the spirits of the north, ancient ones of earth, I call you to my circle. Then turn east. O to the spirits of the east, ancient ones of air, I call you to my circle. Turn to the south. O to the spirits of the south, ancient ones of fire, I call you to my circle. Turn to the west. O to the spirits of the west, ancient ones of water, I call you to my circle. With your hands in the air, with your hands raised in the air, say, so is above, so is below, so mote it be. That is the casting of the Circle of Stones from the beginning to the end. So now I'm going to go through each step and explain the reasonings behind doing it. So the first step is to sweep the ground from east to west. The reason that you sweep the ground with your broom and or besom is to purify and clean the space. You do it from east to west because the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. This cleanses the space of all other energies. You're not specifically like sweeping the floor and like cleaning dirt. It cleans any energies from leftover spells that you may have cast in this space, any energies of events that happened in that space. It is a quick and easy purification of the area that you will be creating your sacred space. Set the stones in the four corners. Now the stones can be any type of stone that you choose. I used to use very small, like those very small polished stones that you can get just out of standard stone kits. And I had like a red one for south for fire. I had like a green one for earth. I had a white one for air and a blue one for water. That's what I originally started with. I now have large quartz that I put in all four corners, and as well as sometimes I take the smaller ones and instead of putting it in the circle, instead of putting it on the outside of the circle, I will create a circle on my altar. But you can do and what feels right to you. Lay the cord. Lay the cord with the stones on the outside. A cord can be anything from shoelaces tied together. The cord should be white-ish. A cord can be a ribbon. It can be shoelaces tied together. I've seen people do put it on the floor and do like duct tape, and out of white duct tape, and do a circle that way. I bought a length of rope, just like a length of standard woven hemp rope, which was kind of tan. It wasn't really white, but you know, it worked. and that's what I use to lay my circle. The cord simply defines the sacred space that you are creating. Now, lighting the candles, you're lighting the candles and the incense on the altar. Touching the athame to the water and the salt. So what you are doing by doing that is you are using the athame as a focal point, conductor for your energy. That is why you touch it from the salt to the water. And I do suggest that you do the salt first. In my book, I actually have the water first, but by experience, I suggest you do the salt and then the water. Because if you do the water first, the tip of your athame is wet, and then you stick it in the salt, and then you get salt on the tip, and it rusts your athame. Just realistically, I suggest you start with the salt. You touch the athame to the salt, and it is a conductor for your energy to purify that salt and that water for your sacred space. And then, of course, you repeat, I purify this water so that I may be fit to dwell inside the circle of stones. In the name of the Mother God and the Father Goddess, I purify this water. You are simply calling upon the energy of the Mother God and the Father Goddess to purify the salt so that it may be used in casting your circle. I actually use the same salt over and over and over again. So it's constantly purified. And I like to use rainwater as far as the water to cast my circle. But you can easily use table salt and tap water. There's nothing wrong with that. And then, you stand facing the north. Then stand facing the north corner and trace the circle with your athame. Again, that is you mentally and energetically, energy-wise, creating that circle. You are tracing that protective circle in the ground, while saying, here be the boundaries of my circle, not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. I charge this by your ancient power. So obviously you are simply saying, I want this to be a protective circle. Nothing in this circle can or should harm me, and nothing on the outside can or should get to me to harm me. And then you sprinkle the water and the salt around the circle as well. It's another layer to really enforce that protective circle, and the same thing with doing the sage. The sage smudges the circle itself and truly creates that protective layer. Then we move on to the calling of the corners. So a lot of, almost all circles, protective circles that you'll see, uses these and uses this by calling the corners. Some people call them the watchtower, some people call them the spirits. They're simply the geographical magnetic corners, north, south, east, and west. And these are seen as individual entities that have a protective power that is connected to a specific element, and you are simply invoking them and asking for their protection within your circle, and you are metaphorically creating the center of a compass. Your circle becomes the center of those four corners, which charges it from the outside, and which charges it from the inside and protects it from the outside. And then, of course, so is above, and then, of course, so is above, so is below. So mote it be is simply asking from the energy of the universe and the energy of the earth. So mote it be is sort of a bookend. So like I said, this circle should be sorry if my camera's shaky. The cat is rubbing up against my tripod. Kitty, kitty, come here. Hi, kitty. There are cats all over my house. When I film outside, they come everywhere. Do you want to come on camera? Come here. Come here. This is Nellie. This is one of our cats. This is Nellie. Nellie, look over here. Hi, Nellie. She does not like to be, she doesn't really, she saw a bug. Oh, she saw a bug. She's gone. Small fact about me, I own 8 cats. They're all outdoor cats, so they're never all in one place at the same time. In the summer, during winter they are, but we own 8 cats. Anyways, this circle of stone is extremely old. It's a very ancient protection circle. Like I said, it used to be done using large flagstones. And Scott Cunningham suggests if you are going to cast this circle inside, to do it in a room that is unadorned and extremely simple, to turn off all heating and cooling and all electrical devices. If you could literally turn off the electricity to that room or to the house, that is what he suggests to do. Turn off all cell phones, all computers, all of that. When I cast my circles, I do like to turn off my cell phone, or I leave my cell phone inside if I'm casting outside. But we all, in the middle of January, we are not going to turn off our heat to cast a circle. You have to do what works for you in your practice and your life. The other thing that I like about the Circle of Stones is it can also be created into a necklace or a bracelet, and it can be made into a protective totem, which is something that really appealed to me when I picked this Circle of Stones. So now that this part of the video is done and you have all the information, I'm going to hand you over to a clip of me setting up the altar, and then that is going to be followed with a clip of me performing and casting the circle from beginning to end. And then I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, witches, so this is the part of the video where we are going to set up our altar for the Circle of Stones protection circle. I'm starting with a altar cloth. So the first thing that we start with is the bowl of water and the bowl of salt. This is simple tap water, and the salt is Himalayan black salt that has been purified through a full moon cycle. So it took about a month. Now I'm setting the candles down. That is a tall white candle and 2 small white candles that I got at my local dollar store. The next thing is the athame. You can use a wand as well, or you can simply use your hands and or fingers. I prefer to use an athame. This is my incense. I like to use loose herb incense, but you can use a tall standard incense stick if that's what you prefer how to use your incense. Now this, you can really set it up in any way you prefer. Whatever works and however everything fits on your altar. You can have a very small altar and need smaller items than I currently have. Or you could have a bigger altar and you could use bigger bowls and bigger candles and a lot more candles if that's what you wanted to do. Now this is the smudging stick. I like to put my smudging stick inside my bowl. There I go. Inside my bowl with my incense, because the incense keeps the smudging stick burning, and of course vice versa. And this is it. This is really just the optimal setup for the specific Circle of Stones. Past this, this is where you would set up other things that go with any other spells that you are currently casting. You see I'm putting a large quartz crystal, which I love quartz, so I'm putting a second one on. And you can add anything that you like on your altar. This is a goddess statue that I also got in a subscription service. This is where you can add anything that you like and that makes you comfortable. And that's it. That is how you set up your altar for the Circle of Stones. We are now going to go over to the part of the video where you are going to see a live casting of the Circle of Stones. So let's go ahead and do that. purify the salt so that it may be fit to dwell inside the circle of stones. By the Mother Goddess and the Father God, I purify this salt. I purify this water so that it may be fit to dwell inside the circle of stones. By the Mother Goddess and the Father God, I purify this salt. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Love shall emerge from within. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. Here be the boundaries of my circle. Not but love shall enter, not but love shall emerge from within. O to the spirits of the north, ancient ones of earth, we call you to our circle. O to the spirits of the east, ancient ones of air, we call you to our circle. O to the spirits of the south, ancient ones of fire, we call you to our circle. O to the spirits of the west, ancient ones of water, we call you to our circle. So is above, so is below, so mote it be. So this has been casting the Circle of Stones. Comment below if you guys liked this video, if you liked the format. Leave a comment below for any other future videos that you'd like to see. I have left my Facebook page and my Instagram page in the description bar below, as well as a link to purchase Scott Cunningham's A Book of Shadows. If you guys are interested, subscribe if you want to, like this video if you want to. As always, to all of my brother and sister witches, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.